Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another basketball reaction, and this is another JxmyHighroller video. And yeah, I don't know if this specific video was suggested, but I've had a lot of comments saying do some more JxmyHighroller reactions, and I was always going to come back to his channel. When I was coming back to sports reactions, I was always going to come back to his channel because he was one of my, if not my favourite sports channel to react to. Him and John Boy were always the ones that I really enjoyed, and Urinating Tree, of course. And yeah, the video title is "These Regular Guys Challenged an NBA Player and Instantly Regretted It." I always enjoy these sort of stories of like random people challenging the NBA players. He's probably done similar videos in the past. But yeah, man, we're going to get into this. Hopefully going to enjoy. Suggest some more videos you want to see. I'm going to do the reaction to the Space Jam trailer, I'm pretty sure. I think I'm going to do that after this. I've had suggestions for that as well. I know it's LeBron. He's like the starring in it this time. But I mean, I don't know if it'll get blocked or anything, so I'm going to do it, and if it doesn't get blocked, I'll post it. Obviously, if it gets blocked, I don't really know what to do. But yeah, I remember people were suggesting for me to do that as well. But let's get into this. Let's check another JxmyHighroller video out. Quick shout out to my Instagram and my Twitter, links in the description for those. And yeah, man, let's get into this. Let's see some of the... Well, let's just see the story to this bit.
Have you ever watched an NBA game and thought to yourself, you know, under the right
So the OG JxmyHighroller music, background music, come on,
circumstances, if I maxed out
it'll go into it.
all of my abilities and put all my efforts into this sport, I think I could play in the league. Regardless of how unrealistic this is, I'm sure we've all had this thought before. We all love the game and we'd all love to play it at the highest level. But for 99.9% of us, this dream will forever remain just that, a dream. Because the gap between most of us and an NBA player is massive. In fact, it could be difficult to understand just how much better the average NBA player is compared to the average Joe.
Look at the
Luckily for us, every once in a
NBA, Overseas Pro, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Community College, High School. Do players in these divisions get paid? Like Division 1 players, that's college, NCAA, that's college. So I guess they don't get paid. Community College, High School, Varsity, average player, that one old guy that plays at the local gym every Saturday morning. And then there's me. I don't know how far down.
While an NBA player will take the time to show us just how much better they really are. A few weeks ago, a high school basketball player challenged Brian Scalabrini, former NBA player and basketball GOAT, to a game of one-on-one. The kid was confident, so confident that he even bet his own shoes on the game. Now, this kid looks to be a solid 6'2", 6'3", with some good skill and athleticism, probably better than the average high school hooper. On the other hand, Scalabrini is a 43-year-old who's been retired for nearly a decade. But there's levels to this. So on the first possession, the high schooler tries to create space with a little hezzy pull-up, and gets stuffed. At this point, the game was already over.
Oh, hey! Hey!
Oh shit!
Hey!
Big man at 43. What the fuck?
Yeah.
After what probably felt like the longest 5 minutes of the kid's life, Brian Scalabrini beat the high schooler 11-0. It wasn't even close. Now, I'm sure there's some clips of the kid getting more shots up on Brian, but his friends decided to only include the clips of Brian torching him. Now, Scal could have easily used his size on every possession, but to really make an example out of the young buck, he got into his bag instead. This isn't even fair. Keep in mind, Brian is a relatively out-of-shape 43-year-old 9 years removed from the NBA. Brian wasn't even an average NBA player. No offense to the man, but when I tried to search up his stats on Basketball Reference, Brian was so low on the leaderboard that he didn't even come up. His name literally doesn't appear. So instead, I had to go over to the ESPN archives and dig through hundreds and hundreds of players until I finally found old Brian on the last page of the league leaderboard. Out of 479 players in the NBA that season, Brian ranked 464th. 400 and...
Well, let's just see some of the stats. Oh my god. And he's bodying this kid, bro.
64th.
What?
In fact, in Brian's last season in the NBA, he scored just 32 points. In the season before, he scored
That's less than some people
just
scored in the
20.
game.
And in the season before that, he scored 78.
Bro, in his final 2 years in the league, he scored less points than fucking... Didn't Tatum scored 50 recently? Did he score 50? So this is more than Tatum. I don't know, like fucking... Kobe on his Kobe on like his insane like points game. Like it's just insane. I mean, obviously the freak behind it is more, but still, man, this is nuts. And I guarantee he probably got paid millions as well, didn't he? He probably got paid millions for these seasons.
In fact, Brian scored less points in his entire 11-year NBA career than James Harden scored last season in the first 45 games of the season. In Scal's last season in the NBA, he was worse at scoring the ball than 97% of NBA players. And here he is, 9 years later, shooting hoops in his spare time and still absolutely smoking an above average hooper. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call perspective.
That's ridiculous.
It's something that you need in order to grasp exactly where you stand in the world of sports. And yet it's something that a lot of sports fans lack. We all know that one guy that swears he would have went to the league if he didn't get injured or he got more playing time or if he was 6 inches taller. That's me saying that. I'm that one guy.
Happens in soccer as well.
But all jokes aside, sometimes we just need to get walked by real NBA talent to know exactly how good these guys are. Like in 2017, when a 22-year-old Fred VanVleet went one-on-one against 2 other hoopers. Now, these other hoopers were far from average. One of them was Marcus Posley, a guard in the G League. The other hooper was Jordan Poole, who is now a contributing player on the Warriors, but at the time was an 18-year-old fresh out of high school as the 51st top prospect in the entire country. Wow. 2 elite basketball players, one a professional in the G League, the other a top high school recruit with 5 inches on VanVleet. Both of them far, far better than everyone at your local gym. Take a wild guess at how these one-on-ones went.
How tall is VanVleet again? He's like 6 foot. He's quite small, isn't he? There is no stopping this man.
It went pretty much exactly how you would expect. VanVleet, going half speed, was still on another level. Just look at how easy he gets to his spots. Getting up shots like the defender isn't even there. In a King's Court format, Poole finished with 3, Posley finished with 7, and VanVleet finished with 19, and didn't even break a sweat in the process. Look at this bucket here. Come on, dog. This man literally isn't even trying. Today, most fans know VanVleet as a killer point guard with a championship and a 54-point performance under his belt.
Yeah,
but back in
he's a
2017,
solid
Fred was hardly a rotational guy for the Raptors, averaging just 8 minutes and 3 points per game. This guy is 6 feet tall on a good day, can hardly get playing time in the league, and here he is completely sleepwalking through 2 elite basketball talents like it's nothing. Perspective. And I would like to say that for the most part, NBA players don't even give us average Joes the time of day. Only once in a blue moon do they bring their busy days to a halt to show some washed up hack just how delusional he is. But far more often, these pros don't even listen to the chatter. Well, all of them but Scalabrini. Brian doesn't just listen to us average Joes, he makes a show about it and proceeds to embarrass our fellow average brethren for the world to see. Seriously, this was a real thing. This actually happened. In 2013, on a show called The Scalenge, which is pretty much the greatest name for a show in the history of shows, Brian Scalabrini didn't just play random guys one-on-one and take their shoes. This man handpicked contestants via video submissions, brought them onto his own show, created apparel and merchandise for the show, and even had his own sideline crew to call the action. This is absolute peak, all-time pettiness from Scal. And I love it. Imagine sending a video to a former NBA player, calling him out on his game and saying you could beat him, and probably assuming you won't actually get picked. And then next thing you know, you're suited up in a gym checking the ball up to a 6'8" NBA champion. Now, some of these video submissions were complete satire, but for every guy trying to crack some jokes, there was a hooper who actually felt like he had a chance against Scal. The 3 contestants he chose were Matt Tomaszewski, Rich Morantis, and Jake Fay. Now, Mr. Tomaszewski wasn't your average hooper.
Former pro overseas, played in Syracuse, has 2 trophies.
Matt was a 6'8" forward who started at Syracuse just a year before this one-on-one. The second challenger, Rich, was actually a really good hooper back in his day, a former D2 player and also a former pro in Australia. The last challenger, Jake Fay, Well, Jake is the epitome of an average player who had nothing but what I assume are a few rec league trophies in his submitted video that he literally did drills around. 3 challengers, 1 Scalabrini, and a 0% probability that anyone stood a chance.
Matt Tomaszewski, a graduate of Syracuse where he played basketball. Rich, it's a good size matchup. They're almost identical in physical appearance.
I watched him in warm-ups. He can hit threes all day, but the question is, does he have the speed? Does he have the quickness to take on the Vanilla Godzilla?
Elbows up.
How about that? How about that?
Positioning.
Ooh.
Bing. That's a nice spin move. And
He goes back for the 3. Oh, red. Oh!
It's an interesting strategy.
Hey!
What a
This is the guy who fucking... he had an NBA career, but his point scoring was dreadful. This is when you just fully realize how good these are, compared to good players themselves as well. Like, this is nuts. I can't get my head around this.
contest.
Hey, seriously?
How he's just bodying them like it's nothing.
Well,
11-3.
that went about as terrible as I thought it would. Let's see how Jake did.
Where I'm from, I'm called the Great White Hope.
Because I wear hoop earrings.
There ain't gonna be no hope.
Oh, this guy's gonna suck. Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. All right.
This guy's decent.
Wow. I think this guy might be a keeper.
And he's got his trophies
All
out.
around the trophies.
Yeah.
Scout, what do you think?
No, it's decent. Good athlete. It's a guy, we're going to pick this guy. I like it. Make sure you bring your trophies. This is the guy we want.
No, he didn't. He got fouled.
Jake, oh, that's just embarrassing. Oh!
He's just too powerful, isn't he?
There you go.
Ooh, la.
There you go. Go for the dunk, baby. Go!
Fadeaway
jumper, it's in.
And it is the shutout as he predicted.
11-0. This guy came in with the most cocky attitude, and he's just been washed. Like
As
it's
he
nothing,
wanted,
man.
Brian Scalabrini takes
He has
out
walked through
Jake
him.
Fay.
Yep, pretty much what I thought. Rich, let's see what you can do.
As much as I would have to guard him, he'd have to guard me.
So you have chosen death.
So this guy was the best player, wasn't he? Well, I think he was anyway. Oh!
You walk away with a shutout. What did you take from the game?
Well, I missed that first shot I should have made. And after that, I just couldn't get the shot going. Really, it's kind of where it is.
Okay, that was terrible. Breaking news. NBA players, even old washed up retired ones, are way, way, way better than any of us. And I would like to say that after torching these 3 contestants, everyone's ego came back down to earth. But no. Instead, and I'm not joking when I say this, the sideline crew decided to get in on the action and challenge Brian to a game of 3-on-1. The sideline crew. Yes. 3 below average
versus
middle-aged men versus 1 former NBA player. Based on what you've seen so far, how exactly do y'all think this went down?
He's talking to himself again like a maniac. Whoa, why are you checking like that? Oh!
No chance, bro. This is like them playing against me, but I'm even worse than these guys. They actually scored.
Oh boy. I mean, I would really like to say that these guys put up a decent fight. But yeah. This is what happens when average Joes try to go against an NBA player. In fact, this is what happens when an average hooper, a former D1 player, and even a former overseas guy go against an NBA player. In the off chance that you ever get to actually play an elite talent on this level, it's just not gonna go well for you. So shout out to Brian, Fred, and any other NBA player who has taken time to scorch the normal guys, for giving us perspective that we desperately need but often refuse to accept. Let me know in the comments below. And be honest, how well do you think you would do in a game of one-on-one against an NBA player? And even better, who exactly do you think you would have the best shot at beating? Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
Mate, another banger. then this again just shows the perspective and just how good they are, man. I mean, there is, oh, fuck's sake, I was clicking for random links. There is always levels to this kind of stuff, man. Again, these are elite players. These players, the players that were competing, are probably better than the majority of people who are like watching this video, for example, and they're getting spun by some washed-up 43-year-old who's not played in the NBA for 10 years. He was a below-average player, most likely, from what I've seen. Or maybe he was just below average at scoring points. Wait, is he the guy that everyone used to meme about? Is it, wait. Is he one of the memes that everyone pretends he's really good? Is this what it's about? Oh, he is. This is the guy. This is what I know him from. That's. Acceptable. Yeah, he's the guy. The meme, like, people were commenting saying he's like the best player ever, like, as a joke. Fuck, I knew him from somewhere. I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me, Brian Scalabrini. To be clear, saying Brian was a 464th in the league is the equivalent of saying Brian was in the top 500 players in the world. That's a good point. To be fair, Brian Scalabrini quote, "I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me," sums it up. I'm 42. Brian was one of those guys that wasn't asked to do much at all. Just come in and give energy and rest for the start, but he was no chump. He was down for his team. Charlie and Martin Sheen beat MJ in a 2v1, I still believe. Best nickname I've ever heard is the Vanilla Godzilla. It's a good day in the community when Jimmy uploads. Yeah, banger, man. I'm definitely going to be going through a lot of his videos from the past few weeks and months for sure. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? And I mean, yeah, this is just eye-opening to, again, just how ridiculously talented NBA players truly are. I mean, as if we didn't know that already. But yeah, man, interesting video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.